Adam Shifty Schiff. Is he just a pencil neck geek, or is he something worse? Coming up next on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody, welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. I am the author of the book Deceptions of the Ages, Matthew Hines. Today we're going to be delving into the very heart of the subject matter of that book as we talk about Adam Schiff. Now, before we get too far into it, please let me remind you to, if you like this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and go ahead and ring that bell. All right, the topic of the day, Adam Shifty Schiff. Is he just a pencil neck or is he something else? Now, we need to look at a few aspects of Adam Schiff. We need to look at, first of all, who he represents. We need to look at his investments, surprisingly. We need to look at who backs him. And finally, we need to look at the bank. And I think we know what bank I'm talking about. So let's get started. All right, Adam Schiff. Who does he represent? He represents the 28th District in California. Where is that? Oh, gee, it's Hollywood. Actually, to be more specific, it's West Hollywood. So Adam Schiff represents the most liberal, the most insane, the most unhinged, and the most hateful and probably pedophilic, Satan-worshipping demographic in the United States. These are the people that send Adam Schiff to Congress. Now, the next thing we need to look at is, where does Adam Schiff get the money to go to Congress? Now, this is where it's going to get very interesting. So let's just take a look at this little clip. All right, in order to understand old shifty Adam Schiff, let's go ahead and take a look at the people who put him where he is today. Now remember, down in that 28th District in California, you got a lot of movie stars and lawyers. So let's take a look at who is putting Adam Schiff in the United States Congress. Well, very quickly, Miller Barrandess. I'm not sure who they are, but you can check them out. Let's just go on down the list now. We've got Capital Advisors, obviously an investment firm, recycling, the Aerospace Workers Union, $10,000, Radiance Technologies, medical industry, I'm sure, Edison International, Power Company, look at that, Walt Disney. Who else would contribute in Hollywood? K&L Gates, not Melinda and Bill, but probably something associated. PJT Partners, Rockwood Capital. Look at that, Raytheon, Missiles for Israel. Home Budget Loans. George Little Management. Federal Reserve System. Remember that one. Cosgrove Mirror. Excel Partners, Analysis Group, and on and on and on. Cal Western Emergency Medical, Certain Software, Dance Resource of Greater Los Angeles, English Munger and Rice. Sounds like a law firm or a bad restaurant. All right, we are moving down another law firm. Illumination Entertainment, Jana Partners, June Street Architecture. Moving on down. Another law firm. Another Sandler Foundation, Technology Crossover Ventures, United Business Technologies. Now, as we name these, Van Wagner, you might want to look these up in the stock exchange and see how many of these contributors are also listed on the stock exchange, because I'm going to show you something interesting about Mr. Schiff's investments. Look at this. The Los Angeles Unified School District contributed to a politician. Is that even legal? The Council on Foreign Relations contributed to a politician. Ernst & Young, the accountants, contributed to a politician. Comcast, what a surprise. Stanford University, what a surprise there. Johns Hopkins, no surprise there. AT&T, Lockheed Martin, State of California, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, Sony Pictures Entertainment. I'm going down and down and down. And don't forget Northrop Grumman. All right. So these are the top 100 contributors to Representative Adam Schiff, according to OpenSecrets.org. Pretty interesting. Now, in an article called "The Military Industrial Complex Loves Left-Wing Hawk Adam Schiff" by John Kiriakou, I just want to point out a couple of things that he points out in the article. The most important being that Adam Schiff is not a liberal at all. We are going to look at his campaign contributors right here. In fact, it says, if there was any doubt at all that Schiff is in the grip of the military-industrial complex, one doesn't have to rely just on his stated positions on Iran, Venezuela, and China to make the situation any clearer. Just take a look at his donors. The defense contractors love him. Northrop Grumman, 16,217. SAIC, 11,005. Lockheed Martin, 10,298. Boeing, 10,208. Honeywell, 2,025. Raytheon, 7,040. And General Dynamics, 7,038 are all among his major donors. So with that, let's take a look at his investments. Now that we see who some of Adam Schiff's major contributors are, I think things are going to make a little bit more sense. But they're also going to make a little bit more sense when we see who he is invested in. So let's take a look at that. All right, now let us take a little quick look at Adam Schiff's self-worth. Now we're going to look at the years from 2006 to 2016, and I think you're going to see something very interesting. First of all, notice that from 2006 to 2013, Schiff's fortunes were really not much, just things kind of tanked here, and then they took off. He had about $1.1 invested, and then suddenly in 2013 his fortunes skyrocketed, and that would be about the time that Hillary was probably running for president. Now, we just need to look at what else was happening in 2013 and look at the world situation and what was being spent and by which companies and which companies were being paid. And we'll probably see some investment activity into Adam Schiff. But wait a minute, here's his sectors invested in from 2006 to 2016, and he seems to have almost $8 million invested in this unknown sector. Gee, I wonder if that could be defense. All right, so here's his other sectors, but most of the things he's invested in are unknown. Is that good for a United States politician? Well, there it is. Now, could it be that Adam Schiff is investing through these funds, whatever, et cetera, in the same companies that he is representing in Congress and that are donating to his campaign? Well, that's something that really ought to be looked at. But for even just anybody who doesn't know anything, having these major military contractors contribute to a politician's campaign is scary. But it gets even more scary. So let's take a look at this. So now that we see that Adam Schiff is heavily invested in the same industries in which they're also sponsoring him, we can kind of see there is somewhat of a conflict of interest here. But the conflict of interest goes much deeper than that as we look at his connection to George Soros and the One World Fund. Breitbart News reports Representative Adam Schiff, the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, was previously financially aided by the George Soros-financed MoveOn.org to win his congressional seat. Schiff was also awarded the Toll Fellowship, which is sponsored by the Council of State Governments, a nonprofit that monitors federal government activities and is heavily financed by Soros's Open Society foundations. The Open Society and Soros-funded groups have additionally supported a number of Schiff's legislative efforts. Schiff has been helping to lead the Democrats' unsubstantiated charges of alleged collusion between President Donald Trump and Moscow. Last month, Schiff delivered the opening statements at a congressional hearing where he laid out the case for alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. This reporter previously documented serious problems with Schiff's charges, which include wild conspiracy theories and heavy reliance on a questionable source. Wonder if he's beholden to Soros now? We believe he is. Remember that Schiff has been lying and leaking since day one of the Trump presidency. He believes the end justifies the means, even if it's corrupt. All right, so now that we see Adam Schiff's connection to George Soros, we need to look back in time and we need to look at the history of the Schiffs, what they're even doing here, and what their purpose is. So let's take a look at that and then come back for a summary. So let's just look at the background of the Schiffs. This is from the Truth Control website. And we just have a few little snippets here we're going to look at. And first one is, this was from G. Edward Griffin. I cite this in my book, Deceptions of the Ages. Jacob Schiff was head of the New York investment firm Kuhn, Loeb and Company. He was one of the principal backers of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and personally financed Trotsky's trip from New York to Russia. He was a major contributor to Woodrow Wilson's presidential campaign and an advocate for passage of the Federal Reserve Act. Now, something else that's very important about the Schiff, Loeb, and Kuhn little trio there is the fact that by the time Schiff arrived in the United States, Kuhn and Loeb was a well-known private banking firm, and this is the firm Jacob Schiff bought into. Shortly after he became a partner in Kuhn and Loeb, Schiff married Loeb's daughter, Teresa. Then he bought out Kuhn's interest and moved the firm to New York. And Kuhn and Loeb became Kuhn, Loeb and Company, international bankers with Jacob Schiff, agent of the Rothschilds, ostensibly the sole owner. And throughout his career, this blend of Judas and Machiavelli, the first hierarch of the Illuminati's great conspiracy in America, posed as a generous philanthropist and a man of great holiness, the cover-up policy set forth by the Illuminati. Actually, Jacob came here to carry out 4 specific assignments. Number 1 and most important was to acquire control of America's money system. Number 2, find desirable men who, for a price, would be willing to serve as stooges for the great conspiracy and promote them into high places in our federal government, our Congress, in the Supreme Court, and all federal agencies. Number 3, create minority group strife throughout the nation, particularly between whites and blacks. Number 4, create a movement to destroy religion in the United States, but Christianity to be the chief target. After a comparatively brief training period in the Rothschilds' London bank, Jacob left for America with instructions to buy into a banking house, which was to be the springboard to acquire control of the money system of the United States. All right, so let's look at what we've seen so far. Adam Schiff represents the most unhinged liberal demographic in the United States. All the things that are wrong with the United States pretty much can be attributed to that demographic, and you might even want to say in the world, at the way that they portray violence, their hatred of women, their hatred of minorities, and their mistreatment and misrepresentation of minorities, war, etc., etc. These are the kind of people that everybody spends money on and gives money to. Now, Adam Schiff represents a district that not only contributes massive amounts of money to him, but also contributes massive amounts of money to every Democratic cause. And until we start locking these people up, as we did in the case of Buck and these other pedophiles and weirdos, basically, then these Democrats are going to continue to be funded. Now, if you want to learn more about these subjects, and I highly recommend that you do, because these things are coming down every day, and every day these topics are in the headlines of the news. So you need to take a good look and make yourself aware of what is really going on. Now, why is Adam Schiff so steeped in a subject like Mormons, quotation marks, Freemasons, and extraterrestrials? Well, it all has to do with the fact that at the same time that the Rothschild Bank got control of the monetary system in Europe in the 1820s, well, the Latter-day Saint Church also started. So basically, it's a tale of two kingdoms. And in this book, you're going to get a very I won't say elaborate, but I'm going to give you an explanation of how the banking system came to take place in the United States, if you don't know about it already. So, what does that have to do with Adam Schiff? Well, the Schiff family, as we have seen, came here to safeguard this Federal Reserve Bank. And that is what Adam Schiff is here to do. But they're also here to do those last four things. And they, as you can see, through immigration, they have eroded Christianity in the country. They have promoted massive strife. They have promoted a communist agenda in the Congress. And you now have these Muslim fundamentalists in the Congress that they've imported into our country to bring war against us, already saying that they're going to bring war against us and start arresting people. So this is what has happened to us because people have not paid attention. And so you really need to educate yourself as to what's really going on here. Now, as far as Adam Schiff goes, Adam Schiff is playing a duplicitous game. He's got money invested. He's protecting his interests by protecting Israel, okay? But he is the head of a group of Muslim fundamentalists that don't like Israel. So the only way that he can win at his game is to be constantly attacking the one person that these people all don't like, and that is Trump. Remember, as I say in my book, and it's said many times, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it's that kind of politics that he's playing. Now, he's also playing money politics. Adam Schiff has got not so much money invested, and it's hard to tell by these conflicting charts just exactly how much money he has and how much money he's worth. Is it 600,000 or is it 2 million that they say that he has invested? Or are these just investments that have just skyrocketed because all these congressmen are allowed to do insider trading unless they are Republicans? So this is the game that Adam Schiff is playing. He is very secure in his constituency as long as he is out and vocal against the Republicans, against the people these people hate, against Christians, against Republicans, against American conservatives, and then be pro-immigration and promote the invasion of our country and the taking away our guns so that the people that are coming into the country are going to have plenty of guns to use against us. So that is the deal with Adam Schiff. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple why he's playing this game with Donald Trump, because politically he's got no choice. But behind the scenes, the reason that he hates Donald Trump as far as Donald Trump's foreign policy is because the Democrats found a gold mine when they saw that you could fund these wars, these little wars like Libya and the ISIS thing, very costly, and not a lot of casualties, and you can get some headlines at home, and your military's happy, etc., etc. So they're playing that game, but Trump does not want to do that. Trump wants the United States out of these conflicts. He knows these Democrats are making a lot of money through investments in companies like Raytheon and Northrop Grumman. So he's going to cut that. And he's saying we don't need American people dying there. And why are we spending so much money when these people have to take care of themselves? It's common sense. So this is something that they're not going to have, and they definitely don't want the American people to have. So what is the future now? The Democrats are trying to destroy this country. They're trying to destroy our government, and they are using our democracy against us by bringing in all these people that will have and they're trying to give them the right to vote. It's a no-brainer. Just bring in all these people to vote for you, and you will win the election. And if that doesn't work, what they're trying to do, they keep talking about a civil war. So these people that you're looking at, you just have to go back into the history of Marxism and Bolshevism. These are the kind of folks that round people up in trucks and take them out and machine gun them. And this is what you're looking at. This is Adam Schiff, and these are the people that you're looking at in Congress. And we imported these people into our country. So it's something to think about as we start thinking about our immigration policy. But for today, that is our little insight into Adam, pencil neck, shifty, shift for brains, whatever it is that you want to call him. Yeah, you can do that, but just remember that these guys are playing a very deadly game, and names are one thing, but the game that these guys are playing and the games that these guys plan on winning, these are very dangerous, and they could cost a lot of lives. So you really, really need to pay attention. I would check out this book, because everything that's happened before is going to happen again. And this is Deceptions of the Ages News. And we will see you next time.